Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at methods, and like always, my name is Zach Baxter. You can visit me at zacharybaxter.com. And also, this message is brought to you by our sponsors, RockyNet, for all your co-location, data server needs, and cloud computing. Visit us at rockynet.com. Without further ado, let's look at some methods. Okay, today we're going to be going over what a method is, what a void method is, how to call a method, how to pass an argument to a method, and then how do we pass multiple arguments to a method. Um, and then we'll show you a simple program that does all these things. And then stick with me on the part two, where we'll discuss passing arguments by references, output parameters, and value returning methods. All right, so what is a method? A method can be used to break down complex programs into small, manageable pieces. A void method is simply executes a group of statements and then is terminated. A value returning method is a value that is returned back to the statement it's called. So basically, a method takes a large, complex program and breaks it into more manageable uh, pieces that you can use. Uh, what is a void method? A void method does a task and then is terminated. There's no value that is returned back to the program. So if we look below, there's a simple example. So private void example message, and then we put a message box show example message. If we look here, the private is an access modifier. So basically, when we set private, only this class can use it, not a bunch of classes. And then we put void because there's no returning value type. And then the example method is just the method name. And then the two parentheses, you can declare variables in. I'll show you that a little later. How to call a method. A method can only be executed when it's called. When a method is called, the program jumps to where the method is, executes the statements, and then jumps back to where it previously was. So an example below is just a simple way you call a method. So the last method, how we'd call that is just say example method, parentheses, and then end the statement. How to pass an argument to a method. An argument is simply a piece of data that is passed into a method when the method is called. Sometimes we need to pass arguments because we want the method to actually use a piece of data that we've been using in the program, and this is how we do it. So below is an example of how we're doing it. So we put the private void because we're not returning anything back, and then example message, and then we got to declare it. So we did an int value. Instead of int, we could have a double or float or string, and then in the message box, since the value is still an integer, we got to change that to this toString method. So we do the toString. And then if we want to call that method, here's an example below. So we did example message, and then we put a 6 because that's an integer. And so that'd bring the 6 into this method, and there'd be a message box that showed 6 in the center. Multiple arguments. This is an example of how to do multiple arguments. So we do the private void example multiple, and then we got to declare each one. So I have int x, int y. There could be int x, string y. You could do string x, string y. You just have to declare them up there. And then here we have a message box that show, and I put an x equals and then x to string since it's an integer, and the same with y. And so here below you'll see example multiple, and I put 5 and 6. They're both integers. Make sure that they match. So if they're integer, they're integer. If they're string, they're string. All right, now let's get to the programming. So I have Visual Studios already set up. I will just stop it right here, or you guys can pause the video right here, build an application like this. I put a pretty girl there to kind of keep you guys' attention, but here's the document outline. You should easily be able to drag and drop from your toolbox a label, a picture box, a text box, and then you can arrange them and name them the same way I do. Again, to name things, right click this and then rename. To get the document outline, go to views, other views, document outline. Some basic stuff I showed you in earlier videos. I will show you how this program works right off the bat so you guys can see that. So basically I'm going to switch the photos. Obviously I added hot and not. This just calls one method and then calls the other method. Y equals, I'll put 7. This will just show 7 and then times it by 8. These are all done in methods. Pretty simple stuff, but the methods, just to get you guys familiar with, that's kind of what I'm showing you right now. So let's do 3 and the 4, calculate it to 7. Nothing really great and fantastic, but it does this all through methods and gets you familiar with working with methods. And then, like always, I'm going to exit out. So let's go and look at our code. Well, let's click on this first, switch to photos. So this is the switch to photos click. As you can see, this method is a click 1, and I just put an if else statement in, and for the first section it says if picture box 2 is visible equals true, then call the method not, else call the method hot. So let's go look at the not method. So these are both the not and the hot method. And so the hot method, we just say picture box 2 equals true, picture box 1 dot visible equals false. So basically turns the visibility on and off, and then the label, of course, is hot. And then down here it switches those, and that'll be not. Simple stuff, but again, this is just basics on methods. So that's how you call a method, simple method. And now let's look at this y and y times 8. So right here is our y. So this is our clickbox method for y, and this is our clickbox for method 8. As you can see, these are identical to each other. So you can call things, but then the methods can do other actions inside, so you don't have to put them all directly in this click, which is nice because you can hide a lot of your code in your methods. So again, I did this is my method, so it's calc y, and this one's going to be calc yx, and then I did it in parse because I need to get it to an integer, and then in text y. So let's go up to here, and as you can see here is my calc y, and I put an integer for y, integer for y. I can use multiple y's because this is the scope of it. It's not going to return a y since it's a void method, so I can use y as many times as I want. And here it just prints out y, and here it does a y times 8, and then returns to that text. Okay, and then finally for the calc, where we're doing 2 arguments. So basically, this is a calc event, and so I added int.parse because I need an integer again, and we need to always separate them by 2 commas or a comma between the two. And then my method is the toArg. So here's the toArg. I just simply set an integer of z because I wanted to do x plus y equals z. I could have done some stuff here, but I decided to do it this way. So z.toString equals text.toText. So I added text. I will slowly go through this so you guys can write the code if you're interested. And like always, subscribe to my page, and I will bring you more videos in the future. And I want to give a big shout out to RockyNet for being our sponsor. And if you have any questions or if you're looking for colocation or server needs, just visit us at rockynet.com. Thank you guys. Look forward to bringing you part 2. All right, bye.